That being said, you big dummies, you getting paid now.
At this stage, it seems like everyone has jumped into the conversation, sharing their takes and opinions on the situation.
Opportunity to pull up their chair.
Over the past year, Cheryl Swoops has continuously aimed bizarre and baseless attacks at Caitlin Clark, from outlandish claims that she's a 25-year-old competing against teens, to dismissing her record-breaking rookie season as somehow unremarkable, and even suggesting that no one in the league wants to play alongside her. It was an unending wave of negativity that seemed impossible to escape.
They will recognize, her game, but they won't recognize her impact.
Right.
How can you separate the two? It's kind of
hard,
right?
And I used and Jax, you're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big.
Then, just when it felt like the chatter would never end, basketball legend and former coach of Clark, Cheryl Miller, stepped up. On the All the Smoke podcast, she landed what can only be called a knockout punch to the critics, labeling Swoops a complete fool while methodically dismantling every false claim. Fans are ecstatic, thrilled to see Miller finally set the record straight. But her fierce defense of Caitlin Clark also hints at a surprising twist for the Indiana Fever's future.
Player of the Year, two-time national championship, two-time tournament MVP, first woman to dunk in an organized game, gold medalist. Thank you for making time. Welcome to the show, Cheryl Miller.
But before we break down every impactful word Miller spoke, let's pause for a moment. Have you ever stopped to ask why a basketball legend would go so hard after the WNBA's brightest rising star? It's a question that demands attention. So, let's take a closer look at the unusual and relentless campaign Cheryl Swoops has waged against Caitlin Clark, a campaign that began in Clark's college days and shadowed her all the way through her rookie season.
People talk about how much more experience that gives you over other players coming in, right? So people say, dang, like he or she's killing them, but you have a 25-year-old playing against a 20.
It all started when Swoops began spreading wildly false claims about Clark's legendary college career. In perhaps the most outrageous statement, she insisted that Clark was a 25-year-old competing against 20-year-olds at Iowa. To set the record straight, Clark was only 22 and in her fourth year, just like countless other college seniors. When pressed on this glaring falsehood, Swoops scrambled to defend herself, insisting it was merely exaggerated commentary on CO eligibility rules, a flimsy excuse that fell apart under any real scrutiny.
Now it probably takes about 40 shots a game.
Here we go.
I know you like that.
Hell yeah.
I said that because when she comes to the league, regardless of what team she goes to that has vets on that team.
She probably wasn't taking 40 shots a game, but Swoops was just getting warmed up. She then claimed Clark was attempting 40 shots per game, trying to paint her as a selfish, ball-hogging volume shooter. The reality? Clark averaged a far more reasonable 22.7 shots per game. The irony is sharp. Swoops herself averaged 19.2 shots per game in her senior year, just 3 shy of Clark's total. Talk about throwing stones from a glass house. When that narrative failed, Swoops shifted tactics, suggesting that Clark would need a 5th year to break the all-time NCAA scoring record as she edged closer to the milestone.
If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
Of course, this was entirely false. When Clark entered the WNBA, Swoops confidently predicted she wouldn't dominate the league. Yet Clark immediately shattered rookie assist records and proved herself as one of the league's elite playmakers. Swoops conveniently ignored that the co-eligibility rule could have granted Clark a 5th year of college ball, but Clark chose not to take it. In the end, the stats spoke for themselves. Clark wrapped up a phenomenal rookie season, averaging 19.2 points and a league-leading 8.4 assists per game, completely silencing the critics and earning Rookie of the Year honors.
Wouldn't be good. What I said was I didn't think Caitlin or Angel would come into the league and dominate immediately, which I don't think either of them did.
Respectfully, there is absolutely no way, even when we're trying to sit here and play semantics about dominating, There's no way that anyone could ever leave this season in saying that both Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese didn't dominate. You would have to further explain what dominance means for you to not sit here and say that a player who is leading the league in assists while averaging 19 to 20 points didn't dominate.
Perhaps the clearest moment came during Swoop's appearance on Angel Reese's podcast, where she continued to disparage Clark while insisting she didn't dislike her. It was a textbook example of words contradicting actions, exposing a hypocrisy that was impossible to ignore.
Since she was in college, I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993, took her to her first SBs. I've known Cheryl, I've coached her, have a lot of respect for her. I called her when Caitlin was still playing at Iowa and she had just broken Maravich's record. And it was all over the place, as you and I have discussed, that, you know, there was this quote by Cheryl that said, you know, Caitlin was, 25 years old. She was, 24 years old. She was a fifth-year senior. Right. She was taking 40 shots a game. Her records were
Swoops claimed Clark's records were illegitimate, and as the basketball world began noticing this troubling pattern, the relentless criticism could no longer be ignored, and it had real consequences. Swoops was eventually barred from broadcasting an Indiana Fever game and replaced by another legend, Nancy Lieberman, who wasn't afraid to call out the Fawcett's. Then, when Cheryl Miller stepped into the All the Smoke podcast and decisively dismantled the critics, the basketball world finally had someone with unquestionable credibility defending Clark. So ask yourself, what happens when a true basketball legend, someone who actually coached Clark, decides she's done tolerating the nonsense? You get one of the most powerful, authentic defenses in the history of women's basketball.
You're absolutely right. And I was like, come on, you big dummies. Is she getting hyped? Yes. Yeah. But she was in the backyard. She was putting...
Reflecting on the immense pressure Clark faced, Miller pointed out that relentless criticism can leave you feeling like you have to prove yourself again and again.
Getting hit with everything left and right. And I just said, I hugged her. I said, I'm so proud of you. I go, savor this. Use this as a formula. I said, but keep being you. I said, no matter what, keep